The delivery room lights were blinding. My hands were shaking as I watched my 12-year-old granddaughter cry in pain, just like her mother did 13 years ago. Then the door opened. A nurse walked in and froze. Violet whispered, trembling, "Kevin?" The man removed his mask, eyes wet with guilt. "I never left," he said, and in that moment, every lie we built came crashing down. "My name is Anthony Gonzalez. I'm 46, a mechanical engineering lecturer at a small college in Texas. People say men my age should find peace, but peace never found me. I have a daughter, Violet, and a secret I've carried for 13 years. She was 13 when she told me. Dad, I'm pregnant." Her voice cracked, her hands shook, the air froze between us. I remember shouting, "Who is he?" She whispered, "Kevin." I didn't want to hear more. I told her she'd ruined her life, and ours. Maria, my wife, cried all night. "We can't let anyone know," she said. "She's a child." I agreed. Pride disguised itself as protection. We sent Violet away, to my sister's house in another state. We told her she'd start over. The night before she left, she asked, "Will you still love me when I come back?" I couldn't answer. I wanted to, but shame sealed my mouth. "Go to sleep, Vi," I said. "We'll talk later." Weeks later, a nurse called. "I'm sorry, sir. The baby didn't make it." I dropped the phone. Maria fell to her knees. Violet didn't cry, didn't speak. She just stared at the wall like something inside her had died too. Kevin disappeared. Maria confessed she gave him money. "He had to go," she said. "It's for the best." I nodded, but inside, everything shattered. Violet grew up quiet, distant. She went to college, studied game design, never came home for Christmas. Our calls were short, safe, empty. I told myself she forgave me, that time had healed what I destroyed. But silence isn't forgiveness. It's just another way of bleeding. And that night, when I heard the knock on her door, I knew. The past was back, wearing the face of a child, my granddaughter, repeating the same mistake we tried so hard to erase. I still remember that winter morning, the one that split my life in two. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and fear. Somewhere down the corridor, I could hear my daughter screaming. Violet's voice, high, desperate, breaking apart. I wasn't allowed inside. The nurse said, "She's too young, sir. Please wait here." So I waited. I counted every second until the scream stopped. Then came silence. Heavy, unnatural silence as a doctor walked out, his face pale. He avoided my eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. "The baby didn't make it." Maria gasped beside me. She clutched my arm and sank to the floor. I wanted to run to Violet, but I couldn't move. All I could hear was her cry, thin, shattered, like the sound of something breaking that could never be repaired. When I entered the room, she was curled up, her face wet with tears. "Where's my baby?" she whispered. I lied. "She's gone, sweetheart. She's gone." Her lips trembled. "I want to see her." I turned away. "It's better if you don't." That was the moment I saw it, her trust leaving her body. Days passed. We took Violet home, fragile and silent. At night, I'd hear her whisper to someone who wasn't there, apologizing, promising to be better. Then one evening, Maria said, "Kevin's gone." I gave him money to leave. I stared at her. "You did what?" She was calm. It was the only way to protect her, to protect us. I wanted to scream, but I stayed quiet. We had already built too many lies to stop. Years later, I still tell myself it was the right choice. But every night, I hear Violet's voice in that hospital room and see the face of a girl who realized her father chose silence over love. It was late, almost midnight, when the phone rang. I saw her name, Violet, and my heart jumped. She rarely called. Her voice on the other end was shaky, breathless. "Dad, there's a girl here," she said. "She showed up at my door. I don't know who she is. She looks terrified." I could hear muffled crying in the background and the sound of rain hitting the window. "Did you call the police?" I asked. "No," she whispered. "She begged me not to. She said she knows me." I grabbed my keys and left without another word. The drive felt endless. When I reached her apartment, the lights were on. Violet stood by the doorway, pale and trembling. In front of her was a little girl, thin, soaked, clutching a torn backpack. The moment our eyes met, the girl burst into tears. "Please," she cried, "don't call anyone. Please, I just wanted to see you." Violet knelt down, confused, trying to comfort her. "Honey, who are you?" The girl's voice cracked. "It's me, Kira." Violet froze, her lips parted, but no sound came out. "What did you just say?" "I'm Kira," the girl repeated, louder now, trembling. "Your daughter." The air disappeared from the room. I felt the world tilt beneath my feet. 13 years of silence, of lies, all collapsing at once. Violet stumbled backward, shaking her head. "No, that's impossible. My baby died. She died." Kira clung to her, crying harder. "They lied to you. I'm alive. I'm real." I stepped forward, my chest tightening. "Violet, wait. Let's just talk," I said, but she couldn't hear me. She was gasping, clutching the edge of the table to stay upright. When she finally looked at me, her eyes were wild. "You knew," she whispered. "Didn't you?" And in that moment, I couldn't breathe, because the truth, the one I'd buried 13 years ago, was standing right there, dripping rain on the floor, calling my daughter Mom. Everything we'd done to protect her had become the very thing that destroyed her. We sat in silence for a long time. The storm outside had faded, but inside Violet's apartment, the air still felt heavy, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. Kira sat on the couch, wrapped in one of Violet's blankets. She looked small, frightened, her eyes swollen from crying. I poured her a cup of tea, though she didn't touch it. Violet just stood by the window, staring into the dark. Finally, I asked gently, "Kira, where did you come from?" She hesitated, her voice trembling. "From Aunt Elena's house," she said. "She told me my real mother died when I was born, that my parents adopted me because they pitied her." Violet turned, her voice barely a whisper. "Elena?" Her hands clenched. "She knew?" Kira nodded. "She always knew, but a few weeks ago I found an old photo in her drawer. It was you, Mom, younger, smiling, holding me." Her lips quivered. "She tried to take it from me, but I ran." Violet covered her mouth, shaking, tears streaming down. "She lied to both of us." I felt my chest tighten. "So you came here alone?" Kira nodded again. "I wanted to find you. I just wanted to know why you left me." Violet fell to her knees, clutching Kira's hands. "I didn't. I never would have. They told me you were gone." Kira's eyes filled again. For a moment they just held each other, mother and daughter, strangers bound by the same wound. Then I asked quietly, "Kira, why now? Why come after all these years?" She looked at me, her voice barely a breath. "Because I'm pregnant." The room froze. Violet's hand slipped from hers. My ears rang. The words hung in the air, cruel and familiar. She went on, trembling. "Aunt Elena found out. She said I was just like my mother, and she threw me out." Violet whispered, "Oh, God," and collapsed against her, sobbing. I stood there, unable to move, my knees weak, my hands shaking. The same nightmare, 13 years later, reborn in the body of a child. History wasn't repeating itself. It was screaming for me to listen. Violet was shaking. Her hands clutched the edge of the table as if the world might collapse if she let go. "She's 12, Dad," she said, voice trembling. 12, just like I was. I tried to speak, to calm her, but my throat felt tight. "We'll figure this out, Vi. We'll get her help." "Help?" she snapped, tears in her eyes. "That's what you said last time. You called it help when you sent me away." Before I could answer, the front door opened. Maria stepped in, her face hard, voice cold. "What's going on here?" She looked at Kira, then at me. "Is this true? She's pregnant?" No one spoke. The silence was its own confession. Maria shook her head, furious. "This can't happen again. We'll call social services. She needs supervision, counseling. She can't stay here." Violet's voice cracked. "You're not taking her. Not again." Maria turned to me. "Anthony, say something. You know what people will think. This family can't survive another scandal." I stared at her, the words catching fire in my chest. 13 years of guilt, shame, and silence, all burning their way out at once. "No," I said quietly at first, then louder. "No, we're not doing this again." Maria blinked. "What?" I took a step forward, my voice trembling but firm. "We're not sending her away, not this time. We already lost one daughter to fear. I won't lose another to pride." For a moment, no one moved. Then Violet went to Kira, knelt beside her and pulled the girl into her arms. Her voice was soft, steady, but carried a strength I'd never heard before. "I won't do what they did to me," she said. "You're not alone, Kira. Not anymore." Maria covered her mouth, tears forming, but said nothing. I watched them, mother and daughter, holding on to each other in the same house where so many lies had been born. And for the first time, I saw what courage looked like. Violet wasn't repeating my mistakes. She was ending them. The morning after the storm, Kira came out of the small guest room holding a wrinkled envelope. Her fingers trembled as she handed it to Violet. "This came in the mail," she said softly. "It was addressed to me. I think it's from him." Violet frowned. "From who?" Kira hesitated. "Kevin." The name fell like a stone in the room. Violet froze. She tore the envelope open slowly, as if it might vanish if she moved too fast. Inside was a folded piece of paper, yellowed at the edges, written in a hand I hadn't seen since the day everything collapsed. She began to read aloud, her voice trembling. "Dear Kira, if you're reading this, you've probably learned things I wish I could have said myself. I never wanted to leave your mother or you. The truth is, I didn't go far. Your grandparents gave me money to disappear, to start over under a new name. I became Andrew. I work at St. Mary's Hospital, not far from where your mother lives. I see her sometimes at the market or the bus stop. She never looks my way. Maybe that's what I deserve. Don't hate her. Don't hate them. I was part of the lie too. Kevin." Violet's hands shook so hard she dropped the letter. I picked it up, noticing the postmark, St. Mary's Hospital, Dallas, only 30 minutes away. She looked at me, her eyes wide. "He's here, Dad. He's been here all along." I nodded. "Andrew, the name on the envelope. He used it for years." Kira whispered, "Did you ever see him?" Maybe I did. Maybe guilt blinded me to what was right in front of me. Violet clutched the letter. "I need to find him," she said. I hesitated, then nodded. "Then I'm coming with you." For once, she didn't resist. She just whispered, "Okay." And for the first time in 13 years, I felt like her father again, walking beside her, chasing the truth we both ran from. The hospital smelled of disinfectant and rain. We'd been there for hours, asking at every counter, showing the letter, repeating the same question. "Do you know an Andrew who works here?" "Andrew. Maybe Kevin?" Each nurse shook their head, confused or too busy to care. Violet was pale, holding Kira's hand as they waited in the maternity ward. The girl was trembling, her breath shallow. The doctor said she was going into early labor. Everything moved too fast, just like before, monitors beeping, footsteps echoing down white corridors. I felt the same helpless fear I'd felt 13 years ago. Violet tried to stay calm, but her voice cracked. "Dad, what if we never find him?" I took her hand. "Then we still have each other." She nodded weakly. Then Kira screamed. The nurses rushed in, and we were pushed back. My mind spun. History was looping again, merciless and cruel. Minutes passed, then the door opened. A man in scrubs stepped in, adjusting his mask. "I'm here to assist," he said, voice low, familiar. Violet's head turned sharply. The man froze, eyes locked on her. Her lips parted. "Kevin?" He stopped breathing. Slowly, he pulled down his mask. His face was older, tired, but the eyes, those same soft brown eyes, were unchanged. He looked at her, then at Kira, tears already gathering. "I never left," he said. "I just didn't have the courage to come back." Violet's eyes filled. "All this time, you were here?" He nodded. "I saw you sometimes. You looked happy. I didn't want to ruin that." She shook her head, crying. "You didn't ruin it. They did. We did." Kevin stepped closer, trembling. "I never stopped loving you. Either of you." His voice broke. "I just thought staying away was the only way I could protect you." No one spoke. The only sound was Kira's breathing, soft and steady now, as if she somehow knew peace had entered the room. And as I stood there watching them, I realized forgiveness isn't born from apology. It's born from finally seeing the truth, no matter how late it comes. The hospital smelled of disinfectant and rain. We'd been there for hours, asking at every counter, showing the letter, repeating the same question. Do you know an Andrew who works here? Andrew? Maybe Kevin? Each nurse shook their head, confused or too busy to care. Violet was pale, holding Kira's hand as they waited in the maternity ward. The girl was trembling, her breath shallow. The doctor said she was going into early labor. Everything moved too fast, just like before, monitors beeping, footsteps echoing down white corridors. I felt the same helpless fear I'd felt 13 years ago. Violet tried to stay calm, but her voice cracked. Dad, what if we never find him? I took her hand. Then we still have each other. She nodded weakly. Then Kira screamed. The nurses rushed in and we were pushed back. My mind spun. History was looping again, merciless and cruel. Minutes passed. Then the door opened. A man in scrubs stepped in, adjusting his mask. I'm here to assist, he said, voice low, familiar. Violet's head turned sharply. The man froze, eyes locked on her. Her lips parted. Kevin? He stopped breathing. Slowly, he pulled down his mask. His face was older, tired, but the eyes, those same soft brown eyes, were unchanged. He looked at her, then at Kira, tears already gathering. I never left, he said. I just didn't have the courage to come back. Violet's eyes filled. All this time, you were here? He nodded. I saw you sometimes. You looked happy. I didn't want to ruin that. She shook her head, crying. You didn't ruin it. They did. We did. Kevin stepped closer, trembling. I never stopped loving you, either of you. His voice broke. I just thought staying away was the only way I could protect you. No one spoke. The only sound was Kira's breathing, soft and steady now, as if she somehow knew peace had entered the room. And as I stood there watching them, I realized forgiveness isn't born from apology. It's born from finally seeing the truth, no matter how late it comes.